Many of these people living close to the centre of Johannesburg haven't been back to their home countries in a long time. They're immigrants, some legal, some illegal. Communal prayer gives them a feeling of security and helps them deal with living in a foreign country. Over 6 million people have migrated to South Africa in the past 2 decades. The late Nelson Mandela once spoke of South Africa as a rainbow nation. But is that still true? I'm here to find out the answer to that question, and the fastest way to do it is to take a taxi. Many taxi drivers are immigrants, and the first taxi I call is driven by one. His name is Best Moyo.
Okay, what kind of flag is that?
This is a Zimbabwean flag. I'm Zimbabwean. I came here in the early 1990s, around 1991. That's when I came to South Africa. And when I came, things were not as bad as it is now. Everything was still all right. I just came here as an immigrant, just trying to look for greener pastures like anyone else.
Best brought his family here from Zimbabwe a long time ago. He says he feels comfortable living in South Africa, but in recent years the mood has turned sharply against immigrants. That's something Best has experienced personally.
A group of people standing in the middle of the road with iron bars and rocks, and so they tried to flag me down just to pull me over. Then I just tried to drive and get away from them, but they started throwing rocks in the middle of the road. Then I realized that if I drive and just drive on over the rocks, then I will have a problem. Then I just jumped up, parked the car, stopped the car, and then I just ran away. They couldn't catch up with me.
Best takes me to a slum not far from the city centre. In 2008, over 60 people were killed in an attack against migrants. The killing started here. Best is afraid to be here.
I'm going to drop you here. I'm not going to go in. If you want to talk to those people, you can talk to them and ask why they hate foreigners. If I go there, they will definitely going to kill me. I'm not going anywhere close to here. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. Thanks, eh?
Okay, man. See you.
Yes.
Bye.
As I'm walking into the slum, Best drives off as fast as he can. The ground is littered with garbage. Huts made of corrugated iron. This is Marathon, home to thousands of South Africans. The only safe time to come here is during the day. Hardly anyone has electricity, there's no running water. A few of the lucky ones have occasional work. There's a lot of animosity about migrants. People here say they're the ones getting work.
There is no job here because there is too much foreigner here. They take our jobs, and then when you want the job, you can't find the job.
I quickly begin to attract attention. The subject of migrant workers is a touchy one.
12 months. I can work for 50 rand in a day.
That's a rubbish.
But those guys, they agree that money, 50 rand.
Yeah. 50 bucks.
You see.
What about food? I'm buying food. And this food is too expensive too. And just to wash, only to wash, is 50 bucks.
That money, we can't afford. We're traveling, we go home, now it's December. We don't have the money to go home because we are not working. You see? So, but this is our land, but we don't enjoy our land.
So what do you think the government or whoever should do? Because
they must chase them away. If it's possible, they must chase them away, but there's no government here.
After
there's this democracy.
You can see the difference. There is no difference here. We live in so bad. You see where we staying. We stay here. This quarter camp. No jobs. Okay, my house.
One of the men shows me where he's living. A hut made from corrugated iron and planks of wood.
Oh, this is my house. I'm sleeping here with my 2 brothers. We are 3. We share everything here. When you're cooking, you use this thing to cook. This is my stove. This is my cooking stuff, you can see. So us.
Cramped conditions and no hope. An explosive mixture.
If you are together, community, we can form this thing. Like the first.
That means, for example?
From example from the first, you see, we gathering together and we make it meeting as South African. So we are gathering together and then we are talking about those xenophobia. Today we're going to chase them out.
Since the attack, migrants rarely venture into the slums. I meet Tala Niang in Johannesburg Centre. Niang is from Senegal. He says many new arrivals from other parts of the continent have a hard time when they arrive in South Africa. For years, illegal migrants have been squatting derelict houses in the city centre.
This is one of the most famous buildings actually in Joburg, whereby you find a lot of migrants living on this bad condition. So they get sick and they don't have a choice actually, because most of them don't have a paper to find a decent job. A lot of things happen in these buildings, you know, like cramps happen in this building. People get sick, badly sick, I'm telling you, because of this condition. There is cholera, you name it, you know. So it's bad. And because, as I say, migrants are not very welcome in Joburg. So struggling to get a paper, struggling to get a job, it's their daily life actually.
Tala takes me into one of the occupied houses in the city. It's risky because outsiders are not welcome. There seems to be little value placed on life here. These men are from Malawi and have been living here for several years.
Tell me a little bit about the living conditions as an immigrant in Johannesburg.
You see, not so good. You see, I come here to look for a living. You see, since I come here, they can't employ me as the way I was thinking, since I don't have ID and papers to live in this country.
Most of the people living here can tell the same story. They're all at the bottom of the social ladder. There's almost no chance to break out of the situation.
So we live like a soldier, no toilet, no water. It's God who knows how to survive.
I've been here to search for a better life, you understand? Now the problem is, we don't have papers. We have been here for 10 years, 15 years. They don't give us papers, no jobs, you understand? So this is not African Unite. This is not African Unite, no.
It's an open secret that many of the people here survive by thievery, but naturally enough, few will talk about it. They prefer to portray themselves as innocent traders, victims of South Africa's justice system.
We try to survive for ourselves, to selling the things behind the street, and the government come and took all the stuff, and we don't have anything to do, so we can survive our life.
Shortly after this interview, we have to stop recording. We're told a group of people living in the house is planning to rob us. We manage to leave the building unharmed. There is another side to immigration in South Africa, a story of success. A burgeoning society of migrants from various African countries has developed in the district of Yeoville. Tala Niang lived here for a long time. He tells me about how it was when he arrived.
98, it was recent. It was 4 years after democracy. So they didn't get actually used to seeing a lot of migrants in the country. So it was very tough. As I say, within the Senegalese community, every actually 2 weeks we send the body home. That was like from 98 up until 2000, early 2003. And since then, you know, it's been getting better and better for migrants actually living in the country. So we have more facilities of getting papers, but now actually it's getting back to that sphere of like getting tough for migrants in the country.
Tala continues to support new arrivals in Yeoville. They profit from his experience. Only a tiny proportion of the millions of migrants manage to rise out of poverty, find a job or start a business. Tala helped set up the African Diaspora Forum, giving immigrants a voice. Politicians have failed in their duties, says political scientist Caroline Wansiku Kiato.
I think there are two main problems. The one is that we don't have a regional migration strategy. We don't have a proper immigration policy that allows people to come to South Africa legally. The second thing is that we've got populist government and immigration is a huge political issue, one which is led out of fear fear that immigrants are going to come and take jobs, take people's wives, and not one that looks at the contribution that immigrants make to South Africa's economy.
Tala is a good example of someone making a contribution. We meet up again at midday in front of his restaurant in Maboneng, a trendy district in Johannesburg's centre. Tala began as a street hawker, but now runs his own business. He employs South Africans as well as other immigrants. He says many immigrants are more business savvy than the locals.
Most of those Pan-Africans who came to Joburg, they came from a country whereby they have that background of like informal business. And that's what not actually South African in general have. You understand? So people here hardly like say, all right, I'm going to open my own business. You understand? And that's that. If you go to country, for example, like Senegal, over 70% of business actually are informal.
It's only a short distance from Tala's restaurant to the migrant slums, but the differences are huge. Tala says it takes courage to start your own business up here.
At that time, you've been thinking of coming here. I'm not talking about opening a business here. You know, only coming here, it was you have to think twice before you came here. So for me, there is more positive change in the country than negative change. That's why I say we don't have a choice. You know, you have to be a rainbow nation or chaos. It's a fact.
Tala Niang has seen his dreams come true. His House of Baobab restaurant is a popular spot where people from all over Africa meet.